I'm Katrina and this is Sow and Tare. Today we're going to be planting our seeds. I am a little bit late on getting my seeds starting in for my summer garden, but that's okay, it'll still be fine, and same process for all the starting seeds when you start in a container. I will be starting some of my spring garden stuff directly into the yard, so that will be different. I might start some in here, we'll see what happens. But you can start seeds in whatever kind of container you want. When you are starting seeds inside, the most important things to do is to have light that goes close to the seedling. If you don't have light that has close to the seedling, you're going to get really long and leggy plants. They're reaching for the sun, and they're not going to end up being as healthy doing as well. So if you have a sunny window or something, then that works great. But if you have just lights, last year I used shop lights. This year I have grow lights. I don't know that I'm going to start out with them. I think I'm just going to start out with the shop lights and at some point change out for the grow lights because they're already in their place. So what I like though is I got these trays from Bootstrap Farmer, I think that's what it's called. And it's a tray that has a solid bottom, that's where the water goes, and then these are, they have holes in the bottom. You have individual cups that go into these. So I like this because I can take them out and check, see how much the water is. You can take one of these out and put water in and all this. Last year, it was my first year using these, and it was amazing. I had roots. So usually when you start plants in a container, they get root bound. So the roots start going in a circle and you might have like a mass coming out here, but most of it is in here and it's just compacted. With this method, the roots actually grow out and into the water underneath. And so when I was transplanting tomatoes that already had roots this big on them, but they were in a smaller container. So there are some things that you don't want to plant this small, but this has, I believe that this type of tray has less potential for transplant issues when there's plants that have big roots. I think there's less chance for that to mess up. So another thing that I learned, Living Traditions Homestead did a video on this a year or two ago, and I implemented last year and it was great. A lot of people say you need a seed starting mix to start your seeds in, which is good. It's fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's expensive. So the purpose of the seed starting mix is to have it be perfect environment for those seeds. So some people will tell you that you need to start in a seed starting mix, and while that's not bad advice, there is a better thing to do. I was watching Living Traditions Homestead a year or two ago, and they had a different take on it, and I followed what they did, and it last year, and it worked out perfectly. Let's understand first what the point of the seed starting mix is. It's to start your seeds. That's it. It's not going to give nutrition. It's not going to give anything else except for starting seeds. There's very low nutrition in these seed starting mixes. What it's high in is things like coconut coir and stuff like that, vermiculite probably, that hold moisture. Gets the moisture, exactly the right moisture for the seeds to germinate and develop. So we don't need to fill this whole thing, okay? I'm not one that's going to spend hours and hours transplanting plants before they go out in the garden. They're only going to get transplanted if they outgrow this container. And I don't need to transplant it just so that they can have nutrition, or to fertilize the heck out of them in this seed mix just so they have nutrition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this most of the way with a potting soil. Then on the top part I'm going to put the seed starting mix, and that will allow the seeds to start, and then when they start developing their roots will hit nutrients and then they can start growing. So that is my goal for this part of the task, and then we can plant the seeds. If you want to know what I'm planting, I'll probably go through part of it right now, but If you want to know what I'm planting, go ahead and look. There's a video that I just did, which has me going through the seed packets and what I'm going to plant this year. So, here we go. So my seed starting mix also was a little bit, it was open, so it was a little bit dry, but that's okay. We're going to water it and it'll be fine. So you want to kind of pack it in, but not too much. You don't need to actually pack it in. Set it on. Let's just do this one tray so I can show you. You don't need to watch me fill up all the trays. So like I said, this is a little dry. It will definitely get not dry again when I add some water. So it's more supposed to be perlite and coconut coir, I think. I suppose I could read the ingredients to you. Peat moss, perlite, pumice, washed sand. There you go. So, not coconut coir. Peat moss, that's not the greatest thing. Peat moss is great for planting, but, you know, kind of environmentally not that great to use. Now, isn't that cheaper? So my plant labels are missing, which I'm not happy about, but I'm going to be writing down on a piece of paper what I do for this tray. I had these marked at one point, but I don't think I do anymore. So I'm going to use painter's tape. This is tray A. I really wish I had my marking stuff. Alright. And then on my paper, I'm going to also write A in the bottom corner. So this is an 8x4 tray. Now to start, I'm going to start with the ones I really should have started a few weeks ago. And that is eggplants, tomatoes, and peppers. When you're planting seeds, it will tell you sometimes, and sometimes it won't, how deep to plant it. This one does not tell me. You generally plant 2 times the width of the seed. That's how deep you plant it. So for eggplants, that's not very deep. Generally, you just do a little divot, put the seed in, and cover it up. And again, I'm doing two seeds per pot because I don't know how many are going to come up. They're not known for coming up readily, at least not when I've done it. Oh, that one got 3. That's okay. Alright, so some of those got 3, some of them got 2. That's fine. Let's do tomatoes. We'll finish out this flat with tomatoes. And again, I'm just doing 2 per, and I can either cut out the other one or retransplant it, or even just plant it next to each other. This is just extra insurance. When it comes to smaller seeds like basil and stuff, you can plant a lot of seeds in one container and then just plant that whole container and they'll do fine. Or split them up when you plant them. Now I'm not going to be planting any cherry tomatoes because I always have cherry tomatoes come up in my yard as volunteers, so I've stopped planting them. You'll notice here, this is a new packet I got last year or the year before, but it says there's a sell-by date. So packed for 2021, sell by 12/31/2021. So that doesn't mean that these are bad. That doesn't mean they're old. They'll still grow. So don't throw away your seeds. Alright, that tray is done. Now I do have it marked on the side here that is an A tray. That tray is done. Next tray we're going to do is peppers. And how many peppers do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Apparently I'm growing lots of peppers this year. It's important to look at what you're planting with each other. So like example, I put tomatoes and eggplant. I put tomato and eggplant in this one, and they both require a heating, some sort of source of heat. So eggplants like it really, really, really hot. I probably could have put okra in there. In fact, I don't even remember if I picked out okra to plant this year. Maybe not. Anyway, if I did okra, I would do it with the peppers just because it's going to be like a hot thing. So all these things I'm planting right now is hot. What I don't want to do is I don't want to plant peppers and like broccoli in the same container, because then you have to keep track of, well, is it on a heat map? Is it not? Is it halfway on a heat map? So those are the kinds of things that you can get carried away with planting and not really paying attention to what you are putting together. So there's some advice. Now here's a word to the wise. One year I was so organized and I did all this and I didn't have the tags and I put it all into an Excel spreadsheet. Then my computer died and took everything with it. So I didn't know what was where and all of that. So anytime you put something like this into the computer, either print it or have a backup paper copy somehow, because I was just guessing. And I mean, a tomato's a tomato and a pepper's a pepper. You know that's what it is, but it's nice to know what it is right off. So I had to go do some other things, and I finished up with the planting seeds in the dark. So I have them outside still, and I ended up doing 3 different trays, and this is just for the summer garden stuff. And what I'm going to be doing next is I have this sprayer, and you can use it for all sorts of different things, but this is just filtered water in it, and I'm going to spray it out here and just to hydrate the top, and then we'll bring it inside and put it where it's going to be growing. So we're just wanting a mist, so I don't know how well it picks it up, but just wanting a mist so we don't spray seeds everywhere. And it might take a while for the peat moss and the stuff to, I guess the peat moss is the only water retaining thing. It might take a while for it to rehydrate. So might do this a few times before we take it inside. So at this point I'm not putting any water in the underneath part. It just needs to focus on germinating. And this should give plenty of water from the top. If we need to spray it again, we can spray it again from the top. You can see how gentle that stream is though. It's not going to be spraying any seeds out. Alright, so I know that this is not the prettiest. This is where I start my seeds. I have some of this shelving that we found on the side of the road. Some of that stuff. So, this type stuff. And I literally one day decided I'm going to make a seed starting rack. And so I was ridiculous and put nails into it and then zip tied it to it on top. That's it. It's ridiculously easy. It's not level. I've used chopsticks to make it level when the water is in the inside. I might improve on that this year. I have shop lights that again were free. And I do have grow lights. So I bought these grow lights at the end of the season last year and just haven't put them up yet. But those will go up maybe this year. We'll see. We'll see how enthusiastic I am. So something to note on here. These shelves are, you know, you can see through them. There's airflow and all this. I have this in my garage. So it's this, putting a sheet or something down underneath this is going to help a lot. Now these are just ones I got from the nursery, and then this is one I got online. This one seems to do a little better. Yeah, that one seems to do a little better, but I just plugged them in and they're already warming up. So seeds that need heat, we'll put on here. And then if I do start any that don't need heat, like I might try, I'm going to do broccoli and cabbage outside, and I might try a few of them inside just to see what the difference is. I'm not going to put heat in there because they don't grow. Those seeds are not informed it's time to grow when the heat gets turned on. Most of the summer seeds are, so tomatoes and peppers and all that. They need heat, light, and you know, the photo period and all that. So coming over here, I have these three plugs are for the heat maps, and then I have another one. This is just to hold it because it was some weight and I was worried about it, but that is for the lamps, the shop lights. And then this is a timer, so I don't have to turn it on, I don't have to turn it off. All I have to pay attention to is water when that time is right. So let me bring them in and I'll show you how it works. So something I like about these from Bootstrap Farmer that is not the same as the Jiffy things that you get from the store. Can you go up here? So these are the cheapy, you know, they tear apart little tiny humidifier domes. And these are like one season domes. They fall apart and it's ridiculous. And when your plants get taller, they just go like this against the top. So Bootstrap Farmer has these bigger ones, and I like these. Right now, so we will put the lights so that they're lower, but right now what's most important is germination, and germination, they don't need lights to germinate usually. It's mostly heat, but we'll deal with the lights later. Something else that I like about this type is that it has these, can you come in? Something I like about this type is that it has these vents that you can close or open, and I'm going to close just so that we get a good humidity going, and then I can come back and adjust that if there's too much moisture in there. And that's again something the little cheapy ones don't have. So that's how you start. That's how you start seeds. In my zone, I'm zone 9B, and so in my zone, these are the things that we need to start. And this is the process to go through with any seeds you're starting indoors. And again, this is an unheated garage, so I do have the heat mats and then this sheet underneath the heat mats in order to keep it a little extra insulated. And we have automatic lights that come on, and it's a great system. So I hope that you are planting your seeds soon, and if it's not time to plant your seeds yet, at least start planting your garden. Now's the time to plant. Now's the time to order seeds, depending where you are. And all it takes is just do it. Just start, and you can have your own garden full of your own food. Thanks for hanging out and learning about seeds. Have a good day.